Afternoon, everybody. This is a another zeppelin, orc-style zeppelin that I drew at work. I didn't have my original picture, which is this one right here, to work from, but for the most part I had the inspirational aspect down. So the nice thing about graph paper is, guys, is you can actually start doing scale drawings, like each one of these boxes equals an inch. Whereas with this, you still have to convert it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why you always want to keep graph paper on, guys, because if you're doing a 1/4 scale, you're at least started. If you're doing a 1-to-1 scale, you're done. You just gotta, cut it out and go to your material and start working. So I want to give you guys a heads up on that. This is probably going to end up just being, let's see, what are the dimensions on this? Probably going to be 10 inches wide, 24 inches high, and 31 inches long. So this is probably just going to get parked on a battlefield somewhere. It would be like, okay, the Zeppelin is touching down by these KV hills and the hordes are just unloading. These are fire burners here and here, and I'm insinuating that there is a vent to let gas into here and into here. They were able to walk in amongst the Zeppelins, so I've got doorways actually leading into the Zeppelins. There'd of course have to be a chamber so it wouldn't let all the air out. And I'm not sure what the physics work here, but because it's orcs and orcs are just strange, I'm probably going to have some piping coming out with flames from these side balloons here, which actually, there's going to be magnets underneath all of these. These are just, for cool show. But if you wanted to, like, set up another one, like, going onto it, those magnet points would be the connection points for it. So that's that little bit of what I was doing at work last night. It's kind of fun. These guys are a very creative bunch intuitively, but they don't, sorry about that, but they don't too much explore that side of themselves, so it's kind of nice because they kind of feed off of what I'm doing and so on and so forth. And it's kind of cool generating some interest wherever you go. Clean the applesauce out of these. Probably what you want to do before you do any serious work with them. Not that I foresee myself getting a chance with everything that's going on, but they may find themselves into something that I'm working on, so you never can tell. Now, because once again I don't have a ton of time, actually I'm going to ask you guys a question. I am looking for sheets of just flat, very thin, you can cut it with scissors, sheets of plastic. Now, and it's got to be fairly cheap because I'm going to be using it as a building material, obviously. But if you guys know of, I can't think of, how do I say this? They've got to get these sheets of plastic somewhere to make all this stuff out of. Does anybody know what kind of places creates the raw material, i.e. this stuff, that they ship off to manufacturers that stamp it into these interesting shapes? Because if I could find out, usually if you can get the raw material, it's actually cheaper than, when you're getting it later on. So if there's some people out there that know about this stuff, please, let me know, and I'll be happy to share the knowledge. I think they call it plasticard in England, and I think we just call it plastic here. And you can go to hobby shops and get them with, like brick patterns, metal patterns, blah 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 blah. I'm not so much interested in that aspect of it. Just straight up flat plastic, and then I'll take care of it from there. But with your remaining time, I'm gonna try and do a little bit of a how-to as well. You know, I don't have a whole lot of time. What I'm referring to here is explosions. This is how I do explosions. I'm sure there's tons of ways of doing explosions. But all I'm going to do is take a razor knife. I probably should set this up so you can see. Now, all my kids out there, before you go cutting yourself to the bone and me getting an angry email from your mom, you know, pay attention when you're working with this stuff, okay? Rule number 1, only use what you need. If I'm only cutting through super thin material, I don't need that much razor to do it, okay? I probably need about no more than that, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to make some cuts. Don't put your hand behind it. Just try and, you know, reinforce it. I'm going to just punch through and create a cut. Always try to cut away from yourself. Of course, I'm being a very bad example of that. What you want it to be is fairly irregular. And just remember to keep all your fingers off line. Okay, now it's hard to see, but I've made a bunch of random cuts here. Now what I'm going to do, how much time do I got? So I'm going to just take my finger and I'm going to just push them out. I'm going to just bend them out. And if it tears, that's great. You actually want that. Okay. And if you want more, I'm getting a little extra edge here so I can kind of saw it back and forth. Okay, so I've created a nice opening here, but it wants to kind of flop back a little bit. So I'm going to use, you can use a hairdryer, you can use anything you want to with this. I'm using, good God, a heat gun that is quite macho. This is so macho this will actually bend, or I mean peel off paint. Now there's going to be some fumes when you do this, so do this in a well ventilated room. And I got my trusty fan that's unplugged. So here's my fan, plugging in my fan. Okay, got my fan on. I'm going to take my heat tool. Am I on heat? Good. Okay, so I got my heat tool on. Now, you don't want to get your hand in the way of the hot heat tool. So you grab the part that you want to bend, pliers, and then you heat it. First of all, is this hot? Yeah, it's hot. And it should... Main thing is let it cool in the position you want it. And it should stay relatively close to that. If not, reapply some heat. Okay, that's not bad. Then grab your next area. Okay guys, I'm gonna have to let you go, but this is the main idea. You see it, okay? So, there you go. Have a great day, guys. Hope this works for you. Bye-bye.